Class, good evening from India. I'm putting this on YouTube because this is going to be a slightly longer lecture, but the rest of the lectures for the semester will be on via Yuja or Blackboard, as you can see as you go through the weeks. I'm here because there are not enough planes to go back. Possibly in a month or couple of months, I'll be going back to Albuquerque. So about the course, I hope all of you could get in. There is your course homepage, which is just the front page. And after that, you have the coursework, which is the most important. And there, if you click on the drop-down arrow, you will see the content area. And click on that, and you will have access to the syllabus, to my lectures, to each week's module. They'll open up as the weeks come. And if there is a problem, you can always send me an instant message or an email within the course. That's easier for me because I'll then know which course you're in, because I'm teaching 5 courses, and if you send via my CNM, I wouldn't know which course you're in. So it will be easier for me. You can either send me an instant message or an email within the course. Now, for each module, you'll see about 4 or 5 sub-modules under each heading. The first thing that you'll see are the learning objectives, the agenda for the week, and the synopsis. In the second module, you will see the PowerPoints and the articles. With each article, you will see a PowerPoint corresponding to each article. And the third thing you'll see are my lectures. They're both on via Blackboard, which are slightly difficult to hear. So I've also put on the Yuja, which is the Brightspace technology for uploading lectures. All of them are there in third one, and the fourth and last one are your assignments. So 2 assignments are due each week, Sunday by midnight. The first one is your short multiple choice quiz, 30 points, and it will be graded automatically by responders. And the second thing, which is very exciting for me, are your discussion thread. So you have to subscribe to discussion topic, and then you will have access to the thread. Remember, always click reply which is at the top of the thread, and respond to the thread. Do not start a new thread. And then the last thing that you have to do also has to do with discussion. You have to respond to 2 of your peer comments. And please read what I said in the syllabus about the peer comments. I reserve the right not to give you credit for a comment like I like it, I agree with you, and so forth. It has to be either evaluative or reflective or critical. I agree with you because so forth. So that is more or less the layout of the course. As the weeks go by, each module is going to open up, and you will have access to the previous module because they're not going to close. You will have access to all the articles and everything. And within the modules, of course, as I said, there are about 4 sub-modules. Apart from the lectures in the third sub-module, you'll also find videos in some weeks, not all weeks. So for the first week, you have 3 readings. Aristotle, who is a foundational philosopher in both philosophy and political science, economics, and so forth. Then you have Mary Wollstonecraft, and you have Simone de Beauvoir. Aristotle divided space into the public and the private. The public is the space of free discussion, political discussion. Who has access to the public? Men, aristocratic male, free men who are rational according to Aristotle. The oikos, I find it very interesting. The word household in Greek is oikos, from which we get the word economics. And who lives in the oikos? The master, the rational master who is in control. Women, meaning Greek women, because for Aristotle, only Greek women are women. Others are just slaves. They don't qualify as women. And slaves and children. Now, the oikos, or the household, is arranged very hierarchically. The rational male is at the top, then the Greek women, and then the slaves. Why so? Of course, he has an argument. Aristotle has an argument for everything. The male is the rational person, so he can manage and control. The Greek woman has confused rationality. Because she's Greek, she has some rationality, but it's confused. So she needs the direction of the Greek male, the husband. Why is she needed? For the propagation of the Greek species. So this is clearly what we call nowadays eugenics. Then the slaves. And the slaves are at the bottom because, according to Aristotle, they have no rationality at all. What's very interesting is within the Greek society, there is a difference between genders. Males, Greek aristocratic males have rationality. Greek women do not have rationality. With the slaves, there is no gender hierarchy because no one has rationality. So according to Aristotle, anyone who's not Greek, a barbarian, is someone without rationality. Now Aristotle was asked, what about POWs, prisoners of war? They're not natural slaves. They are not naturally, biologically less. So how can you call them slaves? And Aristotle's answer, which has a fallacy, is that since they are defeated by the Greeks, they are also inferior to the Greeks, hence they have to be subordinate to the Greeks. So it's a circuitous answer. Now, Mary Wollstonecraft came much later, and she belongs to the tradition of liberal feminism. She also has a public-private distinction. The public is now expanded. It includes not only the polis or the political state, but it also includes what we call the market. Because remember, the household is no longer the market. We don't produce all those things that in Aristotle times were produced in the household. So, according to Wollstonecraft, women's subordination is not natural. That is the central difference between Aristotle. It's all biological and natural, so it's no one's fault. In fact, Aristotle will tell you it's for the good of women and slaves that they're subordinate because they cannot be free. They won't know what to do with their freedom, so they'd be insecure. So it's better they're guided by someone. And with Wollstonecraft, she says, no, women's subordination is not natural. It's political, social. So what is her solution to this? Give women the political access to politics, or give them the right to vote. This is typical liberalism. Then give them education and make them part of the wage labor market. It's not that middle-class women didn't work in Elizabeth's time. They did some domestic work. Of course, they had maids and stuff, but make them part of the wage labor of the market, where labor gets returned, which is only possible in the market. So for Mary Wollstonecraft, the most important thing for women is her access to the public. But she doesn't do away with the public and the private. And for Simone de Beauvoir, she starts by asking who is a woman, maybe one who has femininity. And then she herself says that the only way we can say who a woman is she's the other, not just other of feudal culture or agricultural culture or this or that culture. She's the other of culture. So Simone de Beauvoir is kind of contradicting herself. On the one hand, she says that women's oppression is cultural, but she makes it universal. And then she says, there's a sentence in the article that you guys have, that woman's oppression ultimately stems from men's biological need for reproduction and sexuality. So she's kind of flip-flopping between the two. And this other of culture, as I explained in some of my lectures that you'll go to, you'll see that she takes it from Levi Strauss, who said human beings stepped from nature to culture when they started exchanging women. And he showed how the exchange of women or marriage came into existence. So these are the three authors. And for Aristotle, remember, everything is biological, so the hierarchy is natural. There is no way you can change the hierarchy between Greek aristocratic males and Greek women and slaves. He propagated a sort of eugenics, racial eugenics. The races have to be separated, and it's all natural. Greeks are superior. Then for Mary Wollstonecraft, it's socio-biological. more social. So women must have access to the market, wage labor, politics, right to vote, and also education. But there are some interesting things in Mary Wollstonecraft. First thing is she gives women very standard professions like teaching or nursing. She wouldn't probably recommend women going into the army and so forth, the traditional masculine job. And the other thing, which for me is very interesting, she somehow thinks that wage labor is going to emancipate women. Did it? Did capitalism really emancipate women when the market expanded and lots of women were part of the labor market? Did it really emancipate women as a class? And with Simone de Beauvoir, apart from everything she says, she makes a very interesting comment that women can never form a class in themselves. They are always, rather, they would be with men of their class or race, but they're never class for themselves. They're always class in themselves. So these are the three thinkers that you're going to study. I am not going to give these YouTube lectures every week, but because this is the first week, I thought that it's best that I give a longer lecture, which is not possible via either the usual or Blackboard is gone now, and that is why I am introducing you to this whole thing. It's a very exciting course, and remember, all your assignments are due Sunday at 11:59. Of course, I'm going to remind you for the first couple of weeks. And if there is any technological problem, of course, I'll give you an extension, but you have to let me know earlier if possible. Things happen, and so we can discuss this and we can see what other ways you can upload your answers, you can finish your assignments, and so forth. So this is more or less the overview of your first week and the layout of the course. Remember to always send me either messages or emails from within the course, and that will reach me sooner, and I'll know which course you're talking about. All right, so good luck, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you.